Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
DreamWeek not shying away from controversy. One event was supposed to start a conversation about the Rwandan genocide, but it's taken one person by surprise. That's coming up.
And finally, a proper goodbye for a man killed during Pearl Harbor. How officials identified him and where this hero will be laid to rest. Tonight, COVID hospitalizations are rising. 1,257 COVID patients in the hospital. 260 are in the ICU.
And then on top of that, therapies to treat COVID are in short supply. So doctors are telling the night team's Lee Waldman that they have to be selective with who gets what.
The problem is there's not enough of it right now. And most places are waiting on another shipment.
Yet another potentially life-threatening shortage. COVID therapies not readily available when and where they need to be. Last week, Mayor Ron Nirenberg and Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf wrote a letter to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Secretary asking for help in maintenance and distribution of remdesivir, which is in short supply. At last check, no response.
Limiting it to just hospitalized patients right now, even though the outpatient use has been shown to be beneficial, we just don't have enough right now in our system.
Where we are running short, that's where the scarcity is right now, is in the monoclonals.
Monoclonal antibody treatments are also running low. Dr. Jason Bowling, an epidemiologist with University Health, says it's concerning because that treatment could keep people from getting so sick they need to be hospitalized.
We can keep people out of the hospital. That's better for the person, right? And it's also better for the healthcare system.
Oral antiviral treatments by Merck and Pfizer need to be prescribed. They're good options because they're taken at home at the onset of symptoms and don't need an IV or to be monitored by your doctor.
There are some courses available in the San Antonio area, but it's a very limited number.
The DHHS site allows doctors around the country to actively monitor how much of a COVID therapy is in their area. It shows numbers for AstraZeneca's monoclonal antibody treatment as well as Pfizer and Merck pills. The numbers pale in comparison to the number of people dealing with COVID.
We have to make sure that we're targeting the highest risk patients and giving them in the right time frame so that they are used best.
It forces hard decisions for doctors, but they're at the mercy of government allocation. Lee Waldman, KSAT 12 News.
So both doctors emphasized how important it is to get vaccinated, especially when you consider how limited COVID treatments are. The vaccines prevent severe symptoms and allow those COVID medications to be used for those who really need them. Starting tomorrow, Homeland Security is going to require anybody who's crossing the U.S. border who's not a U.S. citizen to show proof that they're fully vaccinated. Now, coming up, we're going to take a look at a study that deals with diabetes and COVID-19 in children. One doctor says that researchers still need to answer some questions. So we're going to talk about what parents should keep an eye on, and that's coming up in about 4 minutes.
But first, another big story we want to get to. Let's take a live look over downtown as the cold weather continues. Meteorologist Adam Caskey taking a dive in temperatures, tracking this dive. Adam, how long will this freezing weather last?
Well, we will have a brief freeze overnight tonight and through the first part of the day tomorrow. But then tomorrow afternoon, it's back into the 50s. But you look at the readings right now, and of course, they're falling off. 34 New Braunfels, 34 Boerne, 34 Rio Medina, Kerrville down to 32 degrees, officially 39 at the International Airport in town. Stinson on the south side at 43. But this is what we're expecting tomorrow morning. Boerne about 24, Canyon Lake, New Braunfels 27, 24 Rio Medina, and Bandera about 23 degrees. So feeling the chill in the air come tomorrow morning. But again, we will be back up into the 50s by tomorrow afternoon. We're going to talk more about the weekend temperatures. They'll remain below average, but more importantly, a good chance of rain on the way. We'll see in a bit.
All right, Adam, thank you. Now it's day 4 in her search. Police need your help now in finding 15-year-old Karina Bianca Flores. She was last seen north of downtown on Tuesday on Broad Ripple Street. That's near Vance Jackson and Dreamland. If you know where she is, call the San Antonio Police Department's Missing Persons Unit. It's on your screen. That number is 210-207-7660.
Now to the countdown to the March primaries. Don't leave yourself out of the upcoming election. Make sure you are registered to vote by January 31st. That is 9 days and a couple of hours away. The deadline different for those who vote by mail, though. That's February 18th, but they may need all the time they can get because a new law creating some confusion among Texas voters. Information that wasn't needed in years past is now required. A Texas driver's license number or the last 4 digits of your social must now be provided on the form. It's a learning curve that voters will need to learn fast or have their applications denied. More than 300 have already been rejected, and that's just in Bexar County alone.
So if they send in their application and we don't have a number to match it to, then we have to reject it and send them back another one and ask them to update their voter registration card.
Yeah, it's a process that can cost voters more time before that February deadline. And a reminder, applications must be signed in ink. Signatures in pencil are not allowed.
Now for a look at some of the headlines making the rounds tonight. A Southside pharmacy is named in a federal complaint. The pharmacist in charge of the Right-of-Way Pharmacy and Medical Supply number 2 is accused of ignoring red flags and signs of abuse to fill opioid prescriptions. In one instance, investigators allege that one patient died after getting pills there. The complaint is seeking civil penalties and permanent injunction. A U.S. postal truck delivered destruction today. Police believe that the driver may have fallen asleep behind the wheel before plowing into this clinic near Loop 410 in Blanco. The driver's okay. No one else was hurt. The doctor for this Castle Hills clinic is now dealing with all that damage.
I've never been through anything like this, so I'll just be in touch with my insurance company.
In the meantime, staff will continue to work from home and meet with patients virtually. And a big bust in Bexar County. A search warrant led deputies to cash, weapons, and drugs inside of a home near Porter and South New Braunfels.
It just seems like everywhere we look, there's more drugs to be found.
The sheriff's office says the drugs had a street value of $400,000. Both a man and woman are under arrest in the case. And that's a look at your Nightbeat News Flash.
New tonight, kids and COVID. A study released by the CDC recently showed a higher risk of diabetes among children who had COVID-19. In some cases, they were diagnosed as soon as a month after infection. A local doctor says there are still some gaps in this study, but still it sets the stage to learn more. The Night Team's Patty Santos with potential signs to look for in their kids who had COVID.
This study is the first stab at saying, there really is something there. We just don't understand it.
Dr. Norm Christopher with Children's Hospital of San Antonio says COVID-19 and diabetes has been a trend in adults those in his field have been tracking. While the latest study by the CDC has some gaps, it does support what they're seeing in kids too.
What they concluded is that there is an interplay between COVID and diabetes, that as COVID incidence goes up, the incidence of diabetes goes up.
CDC scientists compared findings from different studies. That means there are disparities. The CDC analysis lacked important details like the kids' ethnicity, gender, and the type of diabetes they got. But he says it establishes a first step in finding a way from stopping it.
It sets the stage for really understanding more clearly why there's a relationship and how to interrupt that relationship.
For Aaron and Pat Alba, whose son has battled type 1 diabetes for 8 years, this study raises awareness for families to be on the lookout for signs if their child has had the virus and follow up with a doctor.
So you're going to want to be paying attention to things like frequent urination, loss of appetite or increased appetite. And then also
weight loss, rapid weight loss.
Yes, and low energy.
The couple works with families through JDRF, a research and advocacy group for those with type 1 diabetes.
The goal of the foundation is to raise money to find a cure for type 1 diabetes.
Looking at family history could be an added concern, they say.
And Dr. Christopher says what makes it really difficult is that this is such a new virus and it's so evolving so quickly that information that was gathered 2 months ago might already be outdated. But he said it would be wise for families to really consider how COVID could impact their children in the long run. Steve, Stefania.
Yeah, the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation doing great work. Thank you, Patty. Still ahead on the Nightbeat, he took the stage at DreamWeek 2 years ago. Tonight, he's imprisoned in Rwanda. And now a controversy brewing because of who was chosen to take the stage here tonight. That story coming up.
Also, the Bastrop fire that burned hundreds of acres has been contained, but now there's another problem.
Plus, it's been 80 years since he lost his life at Pearl Harbor. But only now is a naval hero getting a proper goodbye. What took so long and how he'll get the honor he so deserves. Coming up.
Monday marks a special occasion for Military City, USA. A Navy fireman who was killed during the Pearl Harbor attack will finally be laid to rest, and this comes more than 80 years after his death. 24-year-old Frank E. Nichols will have full military honors at his funeral at Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery. He's from Wisconsin. His remains, though, weren't identified until May of 2016. Researchers had to use dental analysis and DNA samples from his relatives to confirm that it indeed was him. Frank, who was nicknamed Junie for Junior, had 3 other siblings who served in the military during World War II. His funeral is set for Monday at 2:30 at Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery.
And new tonight, DreamWeek, known for creating an environment for discussion. It's also meant to promote equality, diversity, and tolerance. But one event is striking a chord with some in San Antonio tonight. Paul Rusesabagina is known for saving hundreds of people, thousands of people from genocide in Rwanda. He also made Alamo City his home and was a keynote speaker for DreamWeek in 2020. His family says he was then kidnapped and jailed by the Rwandan government during a business trip. Since speaking at DreamWeek, organizers have said they wanted to include the Rwandan community in a future event. Tonight's event included a current ambassador from Rwanda, a decision that surprised Rusesabagina's son, but he says he wanted that event to continue tonight.
I say let them speak, because the more they speak, the better it is for us anyways. And also, this is a free country. They should be allowed to say what they want. Unlike them, unlike this dictatorship that we've been fighting for a long time, we don't silence people that we disagree with. You know, we let them speak, and we let them dig their own grave, so to speak.
He says he went to ask the panel questions tonight. Organizers say this event presents the opportunity for dialogue, and they've tackled controversial subjects and people in the past. In tonight's event, the Rwandan community in San Antonio apparently chose to invite the ambassador of Rwanda for the event. The Rusesabagina family has continued to fight to have their father freed from that Rwandan jail.
Lots of questions tonight about the Bastrop fire. We know that crews got the flames under control. Evacuations are lifted. No homes were damaged, but the Bastrop County's judge says that he has a problem with how this burn began in the first place. He says that Texas Parks and Wildlife performed the burn under the direction of a fire boss using national standards. Now, Judge Paul Pape made it clear that his office wasn't involved. But now he wants a full account from the state about what went wrong. As you know, the controlled burn started Tuesday before it got really out of hand. Judge Pape says that it should never happen again.
And here at home, you may have seen some smoke coming from Joint Base San Antonio Camp Bullis, where crews are carefully burning more than 1,700 acres in the area. Yes, it's a controlled burn. This one is not out of control. The goal is to get rid of any dry brush, lessen the risk of other fires in the future. This prescribed burn is expected to happen for the next 5 days. So if you see smoke, you smell smoke, and you live out in that area,
that's what it is.
That's probably what it is. And what they're trying to do is get rid of all this fuel for a future
just trying
fire
to prevent something in the future.
Yeah.
10:16 right now. Here's a live look outside right now for 39 degrees right now. And look at that. Not too many people on the roads right now. Kind of nice. If you're going to head out, just saying. Maybe about our commute home.
They're probably at home bundled up.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
Fireplace on, right?
Yeah,
fireplace on, and just enjoying the cold weather that we have in place. All right, take a look at our headlines here. Below freezing tonight, but tomorrow night we're going to stay above freezing, and we'll get into a stretch of above freezing temperatures. Low to mid 50s for high temperatures this weekend, and that's about 10 degrees below average for this time of year. And most importantly, promising rain chances. And we're going to talk about that right away. Let's get to the maps and take a look at our weather pattern. We had some clouds early today. They cleared on out. A lot of sunshine, and across pretty much the entire Lone Star State, we're clear right now. But you look up into Colorado, areas of snow. You look into Arizona. We've got some areas of snow and rain. Four Corners region, this is where a disturbance dropped in, and now it has cut itself off from the main steering flow in the atmosphere. And you see this counterclockwise circulation in the upper level flow. That's our next disturbance. It's just going to be drifting to the west of us for the next couple of days, but it will increase the cloud cover a bit as we go through the weekend. Sunday, a gray day, but by Monday, that's when we tap into its real energy and start making some rain around here. So tomorrow, I think we'll have some sunshine to start the day, but increasing clouds into the afternoon. Our futurecast indicates that. And then throughout the entire day Sunday, gray sky, low clouds. It may look like it's going to rain, but we'd be hard pressed to really squeeze any raindrops out of those clouds. First thing Monday morning, though, that's when we tap into the upper level disturbance and the energy from it and some moisture. Start to see some scattered showers. And I think for the morning commute on Monday, back to work, back to school, it's looking fairly damp, which is a good thing. We need the rain. And I do think this will be scattered in nature for the first part of Monday, with the highest accumulations east of I-35 and the lowest accumulations closer to the Rio Grande. I'm hoping we can squeeze about a quarter to a half inch out of it in and around Bexar County and surrounding communities. I'm hoping for that. This is the latest drought monitor, and especially south of town. We're talking Dimmitt, LaSalle, McMullen counties, Carrizo Springs, Cotulla, Tilden, Fowlerton, Los Angeles, this whole area down to the southwest. That's where we have the deepest drought in our area, classified as an extreme drought. And 70% of the state is in drought. So obviously we could use the rain. We'll take what we can get. What we're expecting on Monday, definitely not a drought buster, just a little bit of a drought denter. Put a little ding in the drought. 39 right now, dew point of 15. Dew points have been down, very dry air. You may notice that on your skin or chapped lips. And earlier today, dew points were in the single digits. That's pretty much as low as our humidity and dew point and moisture content goes around here. Right now, dew points are in the teens, but you're not going to feel any humidity anytime soon for at least the next 7 to 10 days. So let's talk temperatures again. 32 Fredericksburg and Kerrville, Ozona as well. Still 46 in Del Rio, 38 Gonzales and Pleasanton. And by tomorrow morning, many of us in the upper 20s. Uvalde and Hondo 27, Kerrville 23. Here in San Antonio, about 28 degrees. By the afternoon, though, we'll get back into the 50s. Notice closer to 50 along the Rio Grande. That's where we'll have, I think, more clouds limiting the warming, whereas Beeville, Pleasanton, Victoria all get up to about 57. Here in town, about 53 to 55 for the high temperature. A mixture of sun and clouds, light northeasterly breeze. Notice on Sunday morning, with the clouds overhead acting like a blanket, 38 degrees, so above freezing there. And Sunday afternoon, we'll make it back into the lower 50s. As we go forward, Monday, best chance of rain, 60%. Again, I'm hopeful for about a quarter to a half an inch for some of us around town. And then 60 degrees briefly by Tuesday.
That'll feel nice. Let's hope for the rain. Thank you, Adam.
Hope is a common theme tonight, right? Okay, so
yes.
The Spurs, it's reunion night. The question is whether they can stay focused to beat a team from the East.
Yeah, and you're talking about welcoming back two of their former stars, Patty Mills and LaMarcus Aldridge, but they're also playing for the Beast of the East right now. One of them, that of course being the Brooklyn Nets. Do they succeed in a major upset tonight? And there you see them hugging each other tonight before being introduced to the crowd. And they got a standing ovation, by the way, tonight. And you've heard the term mad as a Hornet? Well, that's exactly what Jerry Jones is right now. We'll explain coming up. It is reunion night.
And now the Spurs with a great chance. Aldridge running the floor.
Awesome. And what a night for Patty Mills and LaMarcus Aldridge, who received a standing ovation on game day. After watching this tribute video, Patty Mills walks over to the Spurs bench for a hug from Pop. The new Brooklyn Net challenges former team tonight at the AT&T Center. Spurs get off to a slow start, though, until Devin Vassell attacks the rim with the bucket of the foul. Three-point play cuts the Nets lead down to 4. DeJounte Murray with another spectacular pass, threading the needle with a bounce pass to Keita Bates-Diop under the basket. The Spurs lead 26-24 after 1. Lonnie Walker, the 4, crosses up James Harden to get in the lane and dishes it to Jakob Poeltl for the layup. Murray finishing the pace here, holding off Harden as he goes up the court and gets to the rim for the bucket. Spurs clean to a 1-point lead at intermission. Now we're in the second half. James Harden making his presence felt first with the elbow to Derek White's face. White would get treatment. He would return. Then Harden goes on a personal 8-0 run to give the Nets a 4-point lead. White pulls the Spurs within 1 with his 3, but the Nets close the quarter on a 7-0 run to lead by 5 going into the fourth quarter. Murray gets his 9th triple-double of the season with a dish to Poeltl for the layup. Murray with 25 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, but the duo of Harden and Kyrie Irving just too much down the stretch. Harden with 37, Irving with 24. Spurs fall 117-102.
I think it was just one of those nights where we couldn't couldn't find the basket really. I don't think it was specifically their defense. I mean, they didn't play bad defense, but still, I think it was on us missing those shots.
All right, before his first game back tonight as a member of the Brooklyn Nets, Patty Mills met with the media today at the team's shoot-around. It was there he told us how tough it was for him to make the decision in the middle of the Summer Olympics, even having to text Pop with his decision at 4 a.m. in the morning Tokyo time after being with the Spurs for a decade, unable to meet face-to-face due to the COVID restrictions.
It was very emotional. It was a career-changing decision, and now that it's been made, and just very glad of the opportunities that I had here in San Antonio to not only through basketball but off the court, more importantly, and being able to do a lot of growing up here and a lot of adulting, I guess, and a lot of the values that I learned from being here off the court, I think I've really appreciated.
All right, also before tonight's tip-off, we got to meet the newest member of the Spurs, power forward Juancho Hernan-Gomez, who came to San Antonio via the 3-team trade that sent Bryn Forbes to Denver. Hernan-Gomez is originally from Spain, didn't find out he was traded by Boston until he got home that night.
I didn't have my phone because somebody stole my phone after the Philly game, and I didn't have a phone, so I was dinner, and I came home around 10:30, something like that. And it was already the trade. So my brother was like, try to reach me out, but he was like, oh, good luck in your new team, it's gonna be awesome. But I told him like, what, where I'm going? And they say San Antonio, and I was really happy.
Next up, the Sixers on Sunday. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones still hot about how his season ended. Next.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Cowboys owner Jerry Jones did not give head coach Mike McCarthy a ringing endorsement today, admitting he's still very frustrated and upset with the way his team's season ended in the first round of the NFL playoffs against San Francisco 49ers. Even with a chance to win it in the closing seconds, said that the Cowboys were penalized 14 times for 89 yards, a chronic problem the team faced all season long, with McCarthy telling us it is his number one priority this offseason. As you're about to find out during his weekly radio appearance in Dallas today, that did not sit well with Jerry.
One of the pet peeves I have is that I don't like this, well, we've got to work on this in the off season. We've got to work on this. I don't go for that. I've been trying to push that. I want those things recognized and addressed after we play Tampa, after the first game, or after we play the sixth game. I don't want to wait until we're sitting here with no season left to address these things we're doing or not doing.
All right, boys high school basketball tonight, 27-6A showdown between Judson and Wagner. Thunderbirds in the hole in the first half. Eddie Fernandez drives to the basket for two. That cuts the lead down a bit, but the Rockets are rolling tonight. Nice ball movement, finds Christian Pillow under the rim for the two-handed punch. Judson knocks off Wagner 66-63, pulls into a tie for the district lead. Same district, another good one here, Clemens versus East Central. Hornets trying to keep pace for the first quarter. Reginald Stewart drives to the basket for the lane and the foul. East Central down by 8, but the Buffs answer right back. Theo Grant throws down another two-handed jam in transition. Clemens leads 24-9 after one. They win it 78-60. Girls hoops in 27-5A here. Edison taking on Burbank. Bulldogs looking to rally in the second quarter. Zaranique Neely here hits the pull-up jumper. That cuts the lead down to 5, but the Golden Bears answer late in the frame. Mary Esther Sosa drains a triple at the buzzer to send Edison to the halftime up 27-19. They're going to win 51-40. More right now on KSAT.com, including post-game interviews.
I agree with Jerry Jones.
I do too.
I don't say that very often, but I do. Thank you, Greg.
We'll be right back.
All right, take a look at our temperature trend. These are afternoon highs. Low, maybe mid-50s this weekend. We get into Monday a little closer to 60, and then we'll briefly hit 60 on Tuesday before temperatures come back down. And keep in mind, the average high is 64, so we're going to be running below average, but a freeze tonight, early tomorrow, then we'll stay above freezing for a little stretch here.
All right, Adam, thank you.
Have a great weekend, everybody. GMSA at 6 a.m.
Stay warm.
Yeah, stay warm.